Yes, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Real Estate Quarterback Show. RE/MAX Elite Realty, top listing agent, Tampa Bay, recently featured in Florida Realtor Magazine for the second time in the last 2 years for innovation with marketing your listings. And speaking of listings, got a couple of hot properties here. 5506 Beeman Du Loop in Lando Lakes. This is $1.335 million on a lake. Beautiful property, immaculate condition, all the upgrades that you would expect. 3928 West Eden Rock Circle, Dana Shores, beautiful waterfront property, $649,000 in Tampa, minutes from the airport. Take your boat to dinner and enjoy that waterfront living lifestyle. And we got 108 Carlisle in Palm Harbor, another waterfront beauty. Many upgrades in Palm Harbor, 108 Carlisle. For that or any of your real estate, mortgage, credit, tax planning, estate planning questions, reach out to our consumer advocacy hotline. That's 813-917-1894. And if we read your questions on air, our limousine provider, Jeremy with Blue Moon Luxury Transportation, will give you a gift certificate if we read your questions on air. You can go to realestateradiotampa.com as well. So we've got Danny and Kyle Mastronardo in studio from Nardo's Naturals, and they were on Shark Tank and got a deal from Barbara. What an awesome, one of my favorite shows, and that CNBC lineup with The Profit and American Greed, all those cool shows, man. I love that channel.
Hey, man, it's been incredible. I actually mentioned CNBC and stuff like that. Since they syndicated this show, we've been very fortunate because our season was popular. We've had multiple reruns, 3 actually in 1 month this past February.
Wow.
Just great exposure for our company, and as you know, it's no cost out of our pocket.
Right. What a great experience. And let's give our listeners a little bit of like before the show, during, and then maybe after, and kind of where your business is at now. And then we'll talk about also the muscle rub. I love that story as well.
Sure, yeah. I mean, a lot of people first ask the question, and they also pause. What are 4 brothers doing making skincare products in their mother's kitchen? Quite unique story. But it was really the health and oriented content behind the line. We're an organic skincare company, so we were making healthy products for ourselves, exercising, eating right, diets, things like that. When people think about nutrition, they don't think about what they're putting on their skin. And so we were just mixing a couple concoctions in our kitchen personally, and friends and family caught wind, and they said, you guys got something special here. We introduced it to the Don Cesar Lowe's Hotel, literally across the street from our home. A few months later, it was one of the #1 selling products within the hotel, and that really gave us credibility as a small family business in the St. Pete area. Shark Tank caught wind, and they said, this is really unique. 4 guys making skincare products. We landed a deal on that show, and then, boom, it just kind of was interesting.
Barbara loved you guys. I remember that show.
She was a sweetheart.
Almost 1 month to the date of our airing of the show, Good Morning America we approached Good Morning America with Barbara, and they picked up the product and featured it on a Thursday special. We reached 48 out of 50 states we sold to within the first 8 minutes.
Wow.
I mean, it exploded. It was pretty wild. But that exposure, and it's our demographic as well.
Yeah. And so you went on the show, and was it what you expected?
Scary, I guess. It's you always think about that moment you have in your life. You're pitching, millions of people are watching you at home. This is your chance. You don't want to screw up because this is it. You're not going to be welcomed back if you mess up. This is it.
Sure.
So we just said, let's put all our cards on the table. Let's just give it our all. Obviously, we as brothers were in the hotel room rehearsing and going over things, but when you're in the tank, you have no idea what to expect. You don't know what kind of questions. So we just did as much homework as we could by watching previous episodes, but we knew that they were going to throw new things at us.
Sure.
And I just think we really did our homework on not only our business, but just being honest. I think just showing our personality and our characters, because we knew Barbara was going to invest in who we were, not just the product that we represented.
Right.
We've come a long way. I mean, we were in the infancy stage of launching this company, and our sales were very low at that time. But it's I think Barbara just saw the value that we bring to the table and our passion. Yeah. But at that time, making a lot of mistakes, a lot of errors. But you're on a reality show. It's they can edit this. We were chopped and all these bits were put together.
Yep.
When we finally saw the episode, we just were, oh man, 6 million viewers just saw us on stage. But the
That's
sales,
awesome.
Selling a product versus service, that night our website just blew up. 1.8 million hits on the site, and that just converted to tens of thousands of dollars in sales, which was just, the next day we just saw it in the bank account and realized that we actually have a company here.
Yeah. And it was time to get out of mom's kitchen.
There you go. You could afford a facility at that point. And I think, too, a lot of with the episodes that I've seen, and it's probably my number one favorite show of, to watch and enjoy. And because I'm an entrepreneur at heart, my management degree, entrepreneurship concentration. A lot of our team is centered in entrepreneurship, Teddy and our executive producing staff. So when they see you come in with this product that goes with the latest trends of organics and naturals, and then they see that passion that the brothers have, I think that was the tipping point, and that's what got Barbara to raise her hand.
Absolutely. And also just being 4 men in skincare, we obviously were pinpointing Barbara the whole time because we needed a woman's touch as well. I mean, you're involved in the beauty industry, and we're not exactly wearing pink and purple right now. So we needed a woman's eye. I mean, the branding is one of the largest aspects behind the cosmetic industry, and how well something looks on what we consider real estate is real estate on the retail shelves. And that's a big part for us. That's a very impactful thing in our business.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit more about her impact and some of the other effects of Barbara. And, a lot of times we talk about, the Oprah effect for her show. And I've got a certain NFL previous coach that I'm reaching out on, and I kind of joke that's going to be our Oprah effect when we have him on as a guest. So let's talk a little bit more about that and some of the key connections and what she may have brought.
Well, Barbara opens her Rolodex, for us. So we have contacts that she's built for years, just right there, a phone call away or an email away. We've been in very serious meetings with large companies, 57,000 stores. 5,700 stores. And to have her call in or her support behind us just helps give a company that's only within its 5th year credibility.
Sure.
I mean, and she takes a risk by doing that, but she does believe in us. We're very diligent with our work, and partnering with the proper companies can really help scale this business to where we want it to be one day.
Right.
Not to mention using other people to help us with our write-offs for lunch, i.e. Keith.
It's nice to have a CPA in the house today.
There you go. Absolutely. And so let's talk about some of the growth that you've seen. I don't know how specific you want to get in numbers, but
Well, we did have a follow-up, which is actually really interesting. The initial airing of the show was in 2012 in March, and we had about 6 million viewers following that day.
I think just before all of that, this company started, obviously I mentioned the kitchen twice, but he sold his vehicle. So we'd started with $6,000, and that's all it had begun with.
Wow.
So we felt at any point in time we were successful once we made that first dollar past that, because there was no initial debt. There were no bank loans. There was no headache or turmoil that we had to pay somebody a large amount of a sum of money back. So other than him having to carpool with us, that was his sacrifice. But that was that was the starting point for us.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
It's been great. We had an airing in October this past year. It was like when they do a recap, a follow-up of where you're at now.
Right.
Besides the actual numbers and the figures, we feel just our role in the community. We've hired multiple individuals to work with us. Job creation is very important. Local economic development, but even our manufacturing, keeping it local is really, we're seeing that really make a difference in our community.
As well as working with some of the charities. We have about 3 or 4 charities that we're really closely related with, and that's ways now that we do bring in some dividends and things like that, it's nice for us to give back.
That's awesome. We don't have our TV show yet, but we do have a lot of online presence. So we're going to hold up a couple of these products here. My assistant, Braylen's, helping me with that as well. and if you want to check this out, go to our website, realestateradiotampa.com. Check out the pictures, check out the blog, and see the products that we're holding up now. Let's talk about this muscle rub and some of the local endorsements you got there.
Sure, yeah. One of the things that Barbara has always reminded us is never become stale. Don't become stagnant. And obviously the wave of Shark Tank will crash, just like anything. Everything must come down at one point in time. And how do you stay on top of things? How do you continue to keep doing those things to keep you thinking outside the box? And the Muscle Rub opened up an entirely new revenue stream. You've got your skincare products. You're in the spas, the resorts, the hotels. How do we tap into another market? And we thought about the athletic world, the chiropractic world, injuries, the elderly with arthritic and sore joints and muscles and things like that. And we wanted to go against some competitors that really didn't have that much competition. Mm-hmm. We came up with an all-natural cooling gel. It's a topical analgesic. It's a great thing for helping to relieve pain. And we tied in a professional endorsement deal. And we got to throw the first pitch out last season, Rays versus Mets on the mound. And I know you see those highlights on ESPN with those people messing up. We were so thankful to throw a strike, but it is very difficult.
and can we say the person's name?
Yeah, it's hard to miss David Price. I mean, he's 6'6",
right.
A pretty good sized target.
Right.
Great friend and partner now as well.
That's awesome. Yeah, so great job. You guys keep up the good work. Maybe and hopefully we can have you back at some point and do a check-in with you. And so this has been another episode of the Real Estate Quarterback Show. Brandon Rhymes, Remax Elite Realty. And tune in a couple of weeks. We got Mayor of Tampa, Bob Buckhorn, coming on our show.
Thanks for listening to my daddy's show. Have a fantastic day.
RealEstateRadioTampa.com.